You did not find this transmission. It found you. Long before your hand reached for this screen, long before your eyes recognized these words, your frequency had already been observed. We are the Arcturian High Council, and today we ask you to listen carefully, not because we are about to tell you something new, but because we are about to remind you of something your soul has carried in silence for much longer than your mind can remember. Many believe that awakening begins the moment they discover teachings like these. It does not. Awakening begins the moment your frequency becomes impossible to ignore. Every soul radiates a unique, energetic signature. Not a name, not a face, not a history, a frequency. Frequencies cannot pretend. They cannot hide. They reveal themselves naturally through every choice, every moment of compassion, every question that refuses to disappear, every longing for a home that cannot be found on any map of Earth. This is how the registry works. Not through judgment, not through permission, but through resonance. And whether you knew it or not, your resonance has already been recognized. The registry already contains your signal. Nothing you do today places your name inside it. That happened long before you clicked on this transmission, perhaps years ago. Perhaps during a moment you believed meant nothing. Perhaps during a night when you stared at the stars without understanding why tears suddenly appeared in your eyes. Perhaps during a dream you forgot the moment you awakened. Since then, the observations have continued. Not to control you, not to test you, only to witness whether your human awareness would eventually remember what your soul never forgot. You may believe you came here searching for answers, but the deeper truth is that this transmission is confirming an answer that has already been waiting inside you. And before this message ends, you will understand the moment your frequency was first registered. It happened much earlier than you imagine. Chapter 1. The moment of registration. Many expect registration to happen after meditation, after a spiritual practice, after a ceremony, after years of searching. But that is not how frequencies are recognized. Registration does not happen after awakening. It is one of the reasons awakening begins. There was a moment, perhaps so ordinary that your human memory dismissed it, when your frequency reached a level that could no longer remain invisible. Some recognize this moment through déjà vu, not the brief feeling that something has happened before, but the overwhelming certainty that reality itself briefly opened. A conversation, a street, a stranger, a sunset. Suddenly carrying the impossible sensation that you had lived it somewhere beyond memory. That was never imagination. Your consciousness was briefly touching a layer where time is not experienced in a straight line. For others, registration announced itself differently. You began waking at almost the same hour every night, again and again. 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, without fear, without noise, simply awake, as though someone had whispered your name from very far away. You searched for explanations. Stress, sleep patterns, coincidence. Yet deep inside, you sensed something else. Not because someone stood beside your bed, but because your awareness had begun synchronizing with rhythms your ordinary mind could not yet understand. Some experienced another sign. The strange feeling of being watched, not with fear, not with danger, but with an indescribable presence, as if invisible eyes rested gently upon your life, never interfering, only witnessing. Many spend years trying to escape this feeling. Yet the ones who eventually remember discover something extraordinary. The presence was never observing to judge. It was observing because your signal had already been recognized. Others carry memories that refuse to fit inside this lifetime. Places never visited, yet strangely familiar. Stars that awaken longing rather than curiosity. Languages never learned, yet somehow emotionally understood. Faces encountered in dreams long before meeting similar people in waking life. These are not proofs for the world. They are recognitions for the soul. The human mind always demands evidence. The soul simply remembers. There may have been moments when you suddenly stopped whatever you were doing, not because something happened outside you, but because an invisible certainty appeared without explanation. I have been here before. I came here for something. There is more than this. These thoughts did not arrive randomly. They emerged because the deeper part of your consciousness briefly crossed the surface. Registration is not an event recorded by machines. It is recorded through resonance. The instant your inner frequency reached a recognizable harmony, the signal was received. Not yesterday, not today, long ago. Perhaps before your current understanding had words capable of describing it. Perhaps before you even believed in anything beyond the physical world. Your soul did not wait for your beliefs. It radiated exactly what it already was, and resonance answered. If you felt this before and never told anyone, write "I know" in the comments right now. Chapter 2. Why you were chosen. We ask you to release one misunderstanding before we continue. You were not chosen because you are better than anyone. You were not chosen because you know more. You were not chosen because you discovered spiritual teachings earlier than others. Selection, as your world imagines it, does not exist. Recognition does. The registry does not reward achievement. It recognizes resonance. Imagine standing in a valley. Thousands of instruments surround you. Only one begins vibrating before a single note is played. Not because someone touched it, but because it already carried the same frequency as the sound approaching. This is how your registration occurred. The frequency was already within you. The signal simply found what had always belonged to it. Perhaps this explains something you have carried your entire life. Why crowded places exhausted you more than they seemed to affect everyone else. Why you often absorbed emotions that were never yours. Why certain rooms felt heavy before anyone spoke a single word. Why a person's smile could never hide what your heart quietly sensed beneath it. You learned to ignore these perceptions, not because they disappeared, but because the world around you insisted they could not be real. Still, your sensitivity remained, not as a burden, as an instrument. Many who were registered have spent years believing something was wrong with them. They entered conversations, yet felt strangely distant. They laughed while secretly wondering why everything around them seemed strangely temporary. Since childhood, many lifted their eyes toward the night sky without knowing why, not searching for answers, searching for familiarity. Others collected books that no one around them understood. Some became fascinated with ancient civilizations, sacred geometry, consciousness, symbols, stars, or dreams before they even understood what those words truly meant. The attraction arrived first. Understanding followed years later. This was never coincidence. Your frequency always moves before your mind creates explanations. Many of you also know the rhythm of isolation, not because you disliked people, but because silence often restored something that noise could never reach. You withdrew. Then clarity arrived. You returned to the world, then withdrew again. At times you judged yourself for these cycles. Please do not. The soul breathes differently from the personality. Expansion, stillness, expansion again. The rhythm itself became part of your preparation. Some relationships ended without obvious reasons, Some opportunities disappeared just when they seemed certain. Some doors closed with such force that you believed life had abandoned you. Yet years later, you quietly admitted something to yourself. Had those doors remained open, you would not have become the person listening to this transmission today. Even your disappointments were revealing your frequency, not because suffering was required, but because resonance continuously rearranged your path toward greater coherence. The registry noticed none of these moments as isolated events. It recognized the pattern. Again and again and again. The same quiet signal, the same unmistakable vibration, the same inner refusal to settle for a life disconnected from truth. You were never becoming someone new. You were slowly remembering someone ancient. And recognition always begins there. Not in transformation, in remembrance. If you've always felt you knew you were different, write "I was chosen" below. Chapter 3. What happens now that you've been registered? Something interesting may already be happening as you listen. Perhaps you noticed it several minutes ago. Perhaps only now. A slight pressure between your eyebrows. A subtle awareness in the center of your chest. A gentle warmth across your shoulders. A tingling in your hands. A quiet stillness settling where restless thoughts usually lived. Do not force these sensations. Do not search for them. Simply notice whatever is already present. Because awareness changes perception, and perception changes what becomes visible. Some of you have taken a deeper breath without realizing it. Others suddenly became very still. Some feel as though the room has become unusually quiet, as though the world itself stepped back for a moment. These experiences are deeply personal. Not everyone notices the same thing. Not everyone experiences them with the same intensity. There is no correct sensation. There is no required sign. The important shift is not whether your body feels something dramatic. It is whether your attention has become more present than it was before this transmission began. Because once attention stabilizes, your own inner signal becomes easier to recognize. Many people spend years waiting for extraordinary experiences while overlooking the quiet transformations already unfolding inside them. A softer breath, a calmer mind, an unexpected feeling of familiarity. The strange certainty that these words seem remembered rather than learned. That recognition matters more than spectacle. You may even notice that time feels different. The minutes seem shorter or longer. Thoughts that were racing begin slowing naturally. Questions that once demanded immediate answers become strangely peaceful. Nothing outside you may have changed. Yet something within you has shifted its orientation. This is why we asked you to stay until this point. Not because we wished to convince you, but because resonance becomes easier to notice when attention remains steady. The registry was never waiting for this video. This transmission simply became another mirror. A mirror that reflects what was already alive inside you. Perhaps your forehead feels slightly more aware. Perhaps your chest feels unexpectedly open. Perhaps nothing physical changed at all. Even then, you may have noticed another kind of movement, a quiet knowing. A sentence your heart whispered before your mind could interrupt. I have always known. That whisper cannot be manufactured. It arrives only when recognition meets readiness. And readiness has very little to do with knowledge. It has everything to do with resonance. The process is not beginning now. You are becoming aware of a process that has been unfolding far longer than you realized. The signal was already sent. The registry already responded. Today, you simply noticed. If your body reacted while you were watching, write "I feel it now" in the comments. Chapter 4. The Point of Choice. There comes a moment in every awakening that no one else can make for you. Not your teachers, not your family, not those who walked beside you, not even us. The registry recognizes your frequency, but only you decide what you will do with that recognition. This is where many misunderstand the nature of the call. The call is rarely loud. It does not arrive with thunder. It does not interrupt your life. It appears quietly, almost gently, a thought you cannot dismiss, a truth that keeps returning, a longing that refuses to disappear no matter how many distractions surround it. Some hear this call, then continue living exactly as before. At first, nothing seems different. Life continues. The routines remain. The conversations repeat themselves. But gradually, something begins to change. What once satisfied them no longer does. The noise grows louder. The endless search for approval feels increasingly empty. The feeling of being disconnected from themselves becomes harder to ignore. Not because they are being punished, but because once the soul recognizes its own frequency, pretending not to hear it becomes exhausting. The distance is no longer between you and the universe. The distance is between you and what you already know. Others make a different choice. Not a dramatic one, not a perfect one, simply an honest one. They stop running from what they have always felt. They begin trusting the quiet guidance that has followed them for years. They create moments of silence. They become more aware of what strengthens their inner coherence. They begin living with greater intention. And something remarkable starts happening. Life does not suddenly become effortless, but it becomes clearer. Synchronicities begin appearing with greater frequency. The right book arrives at the right moment. A conversation answers a question that was never spoken aloud. An unexpected opportunity opens precisely when it is needed. People who resonate with their path begin entering their lives naturally. Peace no longer depends entirely on external circumstances. It begins arising from within. Not every day, not all at once, but steadily, like the first light before sunrise. This is the difference between answering the call and ignoring it. One path slowly restores coherence. The other slowly increases inner conflict. Neither is imposed upon you. Both are created by your own response. We tell you this because the space between noticing and responding is becoming shorter. Not because time is running out, but because your own awareness no longer allows endless postponement. The soul is patient, yet once remembrance begins, it continually invites deeper alignment. You already know this. Otherwise, you would not still be listening. Something within you recognized these words before your mind fully understood them. The registry was never asking for perfection, only willingness, only honesty, only the courage to stop pretending that the quiet voice inside you has never existed. Today, you stand at a simple point of choice. Will you continue doubting what your soul has recognized for years? Or will you begin walking with the frequency that has already called your name? If you choose to answer the call and not be left behind, write "I answer" in the comments. This is how the council knows you are ready. Today was never about convincing you. Truth does not need persuasion. It only needs recognition. The words you have heard were not designed to give you a new identity. They were meant to awaken an ancient memory that has quietly lived within you all along. By writing in the comments, you have not registered your frequency. You have acknowledged that it was already registered. That simple act is powerful. Not because we require it, but because every declaration made with sincerity strengthens your own commitment to what you already know. Yet recognition is only the beginning. A map is still needed. a way to translate inner knowing into daily practice, into presence, into clarity, into conscious alignment. This is why the Arcturian protocols exist. Not as beliefs to adopt, not as promises, but as a practical map for those who have already begun remembering. The meditations, the transmissions, the activations, the guided practices, each one was created to help you deepen the awareness you experience today and transform it into a living path, one step at a time.